Welcome to New at NAMT, the next wave of musical theater writers, a series dedicated to spotlighting the emerging voices in musical theater. Every interview provides a unique glimpse into the creative minds behind the next big musicals. So, whether you're a producer, theater lover, or even simply curious about the future of musical theater, New at NAMT offers a front row seat to a new generation of writers. It's time to lower the lights, raise the curtain, and LX1, go on New at NAMT. I am your host, Jean-Paul Yovanoff from Musical Theater Radio, and joining me each week is a rotating cast of NAMT alumni writers as our co-host. Now, before we get to today's interview, joining me this week is Lynne Shankel. Lynne, how are you today?
I am fantastic, Jean-Paul. Thank you so much for having me.
That is great. That is great. Now, before we get to talking to our guests, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been up to.
Sure. I'm a composer and a lyricist. I also work a lot as an arranger and an orchestrator. And you know what? Right now, I am in the middle of a slew of rewrites on Perpetual Sunshine and the Ghost Girls, the show that my writing partner Sarah Cooper and I did a NAMT 2 years ago. Kind of the quick update on that show. After NAMT, we did it last summer at the Village Theater on their Festival of New Works, and we learned so much. And we've been doing a bunch of rewrites, and we're looking forward to doing a 2-week lab at the University of Michigan where I teach at the end of this term. So we're gonna have the privilege of doing a bunch of rewrites and then getting to try them out on our students here, which is super exciting. And then we're looking forward to doing a presentation in New York in the late spring. So we're super excited about all things Perpetual Sunshine and the Ghost Girls.
That's fantastic. I look forward to seeing where it goes in the future because I saw it a couple of years ago at NAMT, and yeah, good job.
Oh,
It was
well,
great.
thank you. I look forward to seeing it somewhere myself.
All right. Well, now that we know Lynne, let's get to the interview. Today, we are speaking with Abs Wilson and Veronica Mansour, the creators of the musical Lighthouse. With graduation in the rearview mirror, Bus is desperate to run away from her Minnesota hometown and everyone in it. The only problem? She can't outrun herself. Lighthouse is a sweeping pop country musical that celebrates the idea that maybe, just maybe, every version of yourself is worth being. Let's welcome to New at NAMT, Abs and Veronica. Hello.
Hi, Jean-Paul. We're so excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
That's fantastic. So, before we get to talking about the musical, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to the listeners. So, Abs, let's start with you.
Hello, hello. My name is Abs Wilson, and I did the book, lyrics, and co-story of Lighthouse. And I just want to say our little blurb sounds gorgeous in your voice, and I'm very grateful to hear it.
You're welcome. And Veronica, who are you?
Who am I? What a great question. I'll just start with my name. Hi, I'm Veronica, and I wrote the music and did story with Abs as well for Lighthouse.
That is fantastic. And I'm so curious to know how the two of you met and what inspired you to create Lighthouse together.
Yeah, so Abs and I met at NYU actually in their graduate musical theater writing program. And the way that program works is you're kind of paired up with people in the first year, and sort of you creatively date each other in a way, and you write a song together. And Abs and I were paired together for the ensemble assignment. And so we got to talking, and we really wanted to write a piece that resonated with both of us and that, we both felt connected to. And so we sort of started talking about our backgrounds, and Abs grew up in Minnesota and I went to college in Indiana. And so we bonded over our sort of shared experience as young women in the Midwest and sort of the stereotypes that exist in those communities. And we started joking about them and laughing about them, but also talking about how they're just people, we're all nuanced and human. And the Midwest is often sort of the butt of the joke.
I'm from the Midwest. I understand.
Yeah. And I think we wanted to write a piece where we were kind of exploring more of the complexities of those areas of the country and sort of small conservative communities. And so, yeah, we got very inspired by that kind of story. And also, we were talking about how a lot of people in those communities that we came across, and ourselves included, felt like, oh my goodness, I just can't wait to get out. I just can't wait to leave. God knows what I'll accomplish when I just get out of my small town. And how when I got to New York, I felt just as uncomfortable, and I thought, oh my gosh, I can't wait to leave. If I could just get out, if I could just be somewhere else. And so the story of Lighthouse is sort of about that sort of internal conflict, as far as how we all like to blame our circumstances for the way that we're feeling in our environments, and what happens when you actually have to realize that no matter where you go, you might be uncomfortable, or dealing with your own stuff because it's about you and what's going on inside. So yeah, that's sort of what inspired the piece.
I love that. It's so incredibly universal. I mean, I think everyone has had those feelings. So I think I think that's really, really smart and interesting.
Thanks. We hope so. We hope so too.
Now, the character Bus is described as an unreliable narrator and an atypical lead for a musical. Why was it important for you to center the story around her?
Yeah, that's a great question. Something that really, I think, kind of led a lot of the way we chose to create this show. Kind of the story I always give is growing up, one of my favorite musicals was Fiddler on the Roof. And specifically, my favorite musical theater character was Tevye, this super funny, complex character who kind of interacts with the audience, and kind of the show is built around him in a really special way. And I was like, oh my God, like I always like want to be a Tevye character, but there's not really so much of that for young women in musical theater. So we're like, okay, cool. Let's like make something like that, but for an 18-year-old girl who lives in Minnesota and calls herself Bus. This character, she's very quirky. She's very kind of teenagery, and in a way that often this kind of funny character is usually relegated to like the side character, like the little clown who like says ha things, while like the real plot happens on like whatever, kind of in the way of her. And so we really wanted to make that character be very taken seriously and be this important lead character that you just don't really see, especially again for teenage girls on the musical theater stage. And I think kind of a lot of what the show was crafted around too is pushing back against the idea of like what women specific, or what kinds of women are like allowed to like be main characters on stage, and what kind of stories are allowed to really like be centered in musical theater. And I think especially with this character, we were kind of, because it's an 18-year-old girl, often teenagers aren't taken very seriously. Their stories are kind of like, oh, ha, like you're young, and so you'll get over it, and so you should just not really like focus on your problems as real problems, or like see this this young person as someone who has real struggles. And we wanted to create a story that takes young people very seriously and allows, again, like their anxieties and their fears. Well, obviously, like the show is a very hopeful one, the idea that you can, take one step more, you can kind of look inside yourself and hopefully work towards, finding some inner peace. Ultimately, like your struggles are real, and that you can see yourself on stage and see, again, like these young people will be able to see themselves on stage and feel very seen. And I think that's also been something that's been really, really rewarding for us, is that as we've had opportunities to workshop the piece or have songs presented, seeing people who kind of are similar to our, main character Bus, and say, oh, like that's me. And that's someone that not only do I see myself on stage, but I see myself. And then that kind of like version of myself having like a hopeful path has hopefully, we found that to be really impactful, which I think honestly is like one of the major reasons we're just excited to tell this story. And also, again, because we have this younger character who isn't your typical ingenue, a lot of the actors that we've had them play that character are also people who are obviously so freaking talented and so funny and just such like caring, intelligent, incredible actors, but they often don't get to play the lead because of so-and-so stereotypes or whatever. And so allowing those young actors to have a show built around them has been so exciting to see. And we're just excited to see how that will kind of continue to develop in any further kind of development opportunities we have.
I love that. That's so amazing. I am really, really enjoying what I've heard of the score of Lighthouse. It feels like it has pop country vibes and also some kind of indie singer-songwriter vibes. And I really, really love all of these things. And I'm curious what pulled you towards these genres for Lighthouse, and how does it enhance the story you're telling?
Yeah, I think we Abs and I are both huge fans of country music, and I think that musical theater in the modern day has really leaned into all this fusion and genre bending and stuff that's very exciting to me, especially, you know, as a composer who grew up as a classical musician listening to classic rock, who secretly listened to Newsies all the time. So, I mean, I think the musical theater canon is whatever you want it to be these days. And I think that that is so exciting for audiences as well as writers and everybody involved, because it really is what you make it. The sky is the limit. So I think when we were approaching Lighthouse, knowing that it was sort of taking place in the Midwest, we wanted to explore more of like a Northern country type of vibe. And also, you know, country music has been explored so wonderfully in musical theater, but we don't often get sort of these like pop country, like radio hit kind of edits, these like really tight 3.5 minute songs, often sung by women, like the Kelsey Ballerinis of the world, or the Carly Pierces, or you know, the Chicks are a huge inspiration for me as far as the harmonies go, and really leaning into how country music is so amazing at telling stories, and so is musical theater. And so why not kind of put these together, and also tapping into that sort of radio edit type of audience who might be listening to country music on the radio, but not really be seeing that kind of country music they like always reflected back at them through musical theater. And not to say that that hasn't happened, but I think there's a lot of potential for that kind of crossover, and a lot of potential for us to be reaching new audiences, hopefully, in the country music world and also in the musical theater world, where people are like, oh, I haven't really heard this kind of music like that. And I think it's really opened a chasm as far as the amount of storytelling we're able to do, but also the amount of fun we're able to have with that kind of upbeat music and things like that. So yeah, and it's a 6-woman show, and I'm a huge fan of harmony. I will put 6 parts in there if there are 6 people. I will put 12 parts in there if there are 12 people. And so we've just had a lot of fun in, you know, how we can really craft the characters around the harmonies and around the vocal parts and about all this kind of stuff, and yeah, how music helps us tell a story, and how a story informs how we write songs, and all that. So now I'm just rambling, but essentially it's been super fun, and we are trying so hard to use genre to our advantage as far as connecting with people and connecting with the story. And it's just a fun tool, and we're very excited. We love country music. No country hate while we're around, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. Love it.
Definitely can hear the passion about country and music. And you're so right about musical theater. What is the sound of musical theater anymore? There is no sound anymore. It is anything that we want to listen to from now on.
Exactly.
I'd love to hear a little bit about the developmental history of the show.
Yeah, so obviously again the show started at NYU's graduate musical theater writing program, and most recently we were super lucky that this summer we got to have a 2-week workshop at the O'Neill's National Musical Theater Conference, which is very exciting. We did some major rewrites. We didn't sleep. We had so much fun, and we met so many cool people. And then directly after that, then we went to the Rhinebeck Writers Retreat, and again did many rewrites. Again, we did not sleep, but we're very excited about them. And then kind of before that, we've also been really lucky to get a lot of other kind of development opportunities. Like, for example, we did Syracuse University's New Works, New Voices program, which was like a 3-week workshop with students who are all freaking amazing. We also did a short concert with New York Theater Barn. We had kind of a developmental production with St. Olaf College, and another kind of concert with Vanguard Theater's New Works Festival. We were also very lucky that we have one of our songs, Runaway Girl, was a winner of Write Out Loud songwriting or Taylor Louderman's Write Out Loud songwriting contest. And so you can listen to Runaway Girl streaming on any platform, performed by Jessica Bosk, which is very exciting. Otherwise, yeah, I think right now we're just looking forward to NAMT and opportunities to come.
Amazing.
Oh my goodness, I forgot something else. I'm so sorry. podcast world. I hope this doesn't have to be edited horribly. I forgot the biggest thing. We were very, very lucky to recently, I'm looking at my notes crying right now. We were a recipient of the 2024 Richard Rogers Stage Reading Award.
Yes.
We haven't used it yet, and we're like, ooh, can't wait to use that. I don't know if we should give more information on it for this right now. But we're looking for a theater to partner with. There's a lot of money. So if any theater's like, ooh, I want a cool show and lots of money, look no further, my friends. Ronnie, maybe you should talk. You can cut all of this out.
No, this is great. We're so excited to have gotten the Richard Rogers Award this year. And like Ab said, we're still looking for a theater to be able to do our reading at. And shout out to Lynne, of course, whose show also got the Richard Rogers Award. So yeah, we're very excited about it and to be in her company as usual. But yeah, we're still looking, and we're really hoping that that is an opportunity for us to hear. And based on all the changes we made at Rhinebeck and the O'Neill, we haven't really gotten to do that yet, and it's quite different than it was a few months ago or even a few weeks ago. So we're very excited about the changes that have been made, and we're very grateful to have all this development that has really led us to get the piece to where it is now, because without all those amazing minds and amazing feedback we got from both, the audiences that we were able to present to, the students we were able to work with, and the folks who work at these amazing institutions, we certainly would not be where we are. So we are beyond grateful and beyond humbled to have gotten these opportunities.
That's so awesome, and a huge congrats on the Rogers. It's so exciting, so exciting, and it's such a great opportunity, and I cannot wait to see where you both and Lighthouse end up with the award. It's going to be fantastic, and NAMT is so lucky to have you this fall. So great. I'm curious to know, what are you looking for in future collaboration, and what do you hope is next for the show? Well, I guess we kind of answered some of that, and then we were just talking about the Richard Rogers. So yes. Any other, and NAMT will be such a great springboard to meet so many different people and so many different producers. So what else comes to mind?
Yeah, I think, and Abs, please add much to this, but I think in the future, we are looking for producers, we are looking for theaters to partner with. We're looking to create a team, I think, at this point, of people who love the show as much as we do, and who are kind and are looking to put these kinds of stories on stage, and feel passionate about telling stories about characters who often don't get the spotlight, about stories that deal with mental health, which is not something we really talked about so much, but the story really deals with women who are struggling with different mental and physical disorders and things that Abs and I personally have experience with, and feel very strongly about those types of stories being told. And so, yeah, we're really looking to expand our team. And I think our next step is probably a workshop or a partnership with a theater. Like we said, we've had so much amazing development. We're just so grateful. And I think we've reached a point where, the two of us need somebody else, need a third party to sort of help us get to that next step. Abs, anything that I totally messed up on or missed?
No, beautiful, perfection.
The show sounds fantastic, and I can't wait to see it in October. Now, where can people learn more about you before the NAMT Festival? The websites, the socials, etc.
Great question. So, and I'm going to say it right this time, because every time there's a little as I realize I failed. So you can find us at our Instagram, which is lighthouse_the_musical. So Lighthouse the Musical. And you can find us then at our website, which is lighthousethemusical.com. And I think that's it. I guess you could find
our TikTok.
You can find our TikTok at
drum roll, please.
You can find our TikTok at just play a blip from the show right now, like a little runaway girl. Okay. You can find our TikTok is shockingly Lighthouse_the_musical. So if you just put in some variation of Lighthouse the Musical or Lighthouse a pop country musical, we're gonna pop up, and then you click on us and you love us. I think that's all I need to know.
Thank you, Abs and Veronica, for joining us today and introducing the listeners, the two of you, to your musical Lighthouse.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Of course, I also want to thank this week's incredible co-host, Lynne Shankel, for joining us today as well.
It is my absolute pleasure to be here with all you wonderful people.
So once again, I am your host, Jean-Paul Yovanoff, and on behalf of NAMT and MTR, thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you in the theater.